Feedback by RQK. Chapter 3. Transcend. 5 mares and a dragon ascended the stairs leading up to the castle tower. Excited voices hosted several conceding thoughts and ideas. As they ascended, Spike looked at the tickets in his hand. The night at the opera started in less than an hour. He had been eager to see the show, and could only imagine how elated Twilight would feel. But that said nothing for tomorrow. The rest of what they had planned for Twilight's birthday was going to be, as they collectively put it, fantabulastic. Piggy! Rainbow Dash flew up to throw open the tower's large wooden door, but the handle only jiggled in response. Huh? She said she jiggled it some more, but to no avail. The rest of them furrowed their brows, staring uncertain glances. Spike crossed his arms. Huh! I thought he'd be here! There were bits and pieces of sound from the other side, but they were so low and so muffled that, even as they lent their ears in unison, none of them could pick up on what they were. Rainbow Dash banged her hoof against the door. Twilight! Are you there? She called. There was a long pause, as nothing happened for a couple of seconds. Then, finally, hi, everypony! The thick woods separated them, and caused Twilight's voice to lose some volume, but the conversation was still crystal clear. Rainbow Dash perked up. Twilight! Hey, Twilight! Let us in! She said, fumbling with the handle again. Sorry, girls. I can't do that right now. Twilight replied. Dash cocked an eyebrow. Why? It's dangerous to be in here right now, Twilight's muffled voice exclaimed. Owljack cocked her head with earnest. Twilight? We've handled dangerous things before. It's really serious business, and I can't get you involved this time. I'm sorry, but please, trust me on this one. Twilight, darling, Verity chuckled with the stick of her head. We are going to see Don go to your village together. You must come with us. Then go and have fun. Twilight replied without missing a beat. Don't worry about me. Verity backpedaled. The ears on her head flipped backwards as he let out a small and offended Woof! Spike opened his mouth to speak, but found that the words he wanted to say were locked away. He wasn't sure what to say instead. He looked down at the tickets in his hands again, then back at the door. Twilight had turned down the tickets. No, rather, she had turned down them. Hey! Pinkie Pie said, placing an ear under the door. I hear voices! Twilight, are there other ponies in there with you? There was a slight thump against the door, but no response other than, no. I hear them too, Rainbow Dash said, now pressing her own ear against the door. What's going on, Twilight? Can you at least tell us what's going on? No. Spike curled his fist into a ball and stepped forward. Twilight, come on! Talk to us! Talk to me. I'm sorry, Twilight replied, her voice growing tremulous. I don't need you right here now. Please, just go away. Twilight! Spike cried, faintly reaching forward. Go away! All 6 of them recoiled. 2 ponies closest to the door had to leap backwards, out of fear the entire frame would burst upon them. The others covered their mouths to suppress sharp gasps. Spike lost his balance and fell backwards onto the ground. The tickets flew out of his grasp and scattered all over the balcony, but he made no attempt to gather them. First, I let out a whimper. Owljack narrowed her eyes. Fine! She snorted. Have it your way, Twilight! Come on, y'all! Guess she doesn't want to spend her birthday with her friends, after all. There was no response. The cow pony held up her resolve for a few moments, but as the seconds passed, her cowl dissolved, before she hung her head and slunk toward the stairs. One by one, each of the others let go of their own reservations to follow suit. Owljack shook her head. I guess now isn't a good time, she said. We should try again later. It didn't make sense. Twilight had never turned them down before. At least, not as she could remember. He picked himself off the balcony floor. Twilight doesn't want us here? She doesn't want me here? His hands curled into fists as his whole body shook. She doesn't want me here? She doesn't want me here? Even as the others were out of sight, he made no attempt to hurry. He descended 1 step, then 2. took one last parting glance back at the still-locked door as he bit his lip. Then he slumped his shoulders, trudged down the rest of the staircase, fancying with the others, into the night. Sunset Shimmer paced about on the outside of the group before her, not taking her eyes off the crystal ball for a second, save to glance between the 6 others as he huddled around it. Within the crystal ball, Twilight Sparkle continued to glance around the room, pacing back and forth all the while. "Spike? Pinkie Pie? Why can't they hear us anymore?" Rarity asked at a near yell, looking questioningly between all of them. Applejack gave a broad shrug. "I don't know. I mean, Spike was holding it, then Pinkie Pie grabbed it." "Wait!" Sunset Shimmer began, pushing through her group and pointing. "Try pointing your hooves on the ball." Applejack scooped the crystal ball at the floor in compliance. "Sugar Can, can you hear me?" "Applejack?" Twilight said, now turning her attention to the apparent source of the sound. Her own crystal ball. "Yes, I hear. But where are you?" Fluttershy started to reach out, then hesitated. She felt her hoof grabbed as Applejack helped her complete the distance. That prompted her to go with Strude, speaking. "We're here, at the castle." "Fluttershy?" "Candlelight Castle, I mean." Twilight narrowed her eyes as she paced around the room. "That's strange," she said. "I thought all of you were in Ponyville. In fact, last I checked, you were. So what?" "Well, Twilight, you see." Before she could speak further, Verity jammed a hoof in Fluttershy's mouth. "Sorry, Twilight," the unicorn said with a chuckle. "We're a bit embarrassed here, and—" She realized she wasn't touching the ball. "I mean—" "It's okay, Rarity," Twilight said. "Then—" Verity did a double take. "Wait, what? Did you hear me just now?" "Yes. Why?" "Well, ain't that interesting?" Applejack hummed, scratching the back of her head. "What?" Applejack took her hose off the ball, stepped back for a moment, and considered the picture. Rainbow Dash took her place. "So, Twilight," she began, placing her own hose on the ball. "What is that thing, anyways?" "What thing?" "This!" The words Rainbow Dash wanted tumbled in her throat before retreating altogether. "This ball thing! This!" Twilight Sparkle levitated the crystal ball off the desk, breaking in front of her disconcerting eyes. "Well—" She softly rubbed her chin and narrowed her eyes in observance. "I first found this in the caves. You know, the ones I've been trying to map out over the past few weeks." "Yeah," Rainbow Dash nodded confidently. "The ones you said you and Cadence were in during that whole thing with the changelings." "Well, I found this at the very bottom of the caves. There's a hidden chamber down there," she explained, "and no pony has found it because it's so deep. See, when I found it, I noticed it was showing an image of the chamber. But no matter how I moved it, it always showed the same spot. Except at different angles." Twilight chuckled. "Which I find that fascinating for one, and two, a large pair of blue eyes suddenly pressed themselves against the ball. It counted. "Wee-wee!" Pinkie Pie asked, with her usual high and bubbly voice. "All I see is this white circle thing." "That's funny, because it doesn't look at all white. I mean, it's crystal for sure." The beat was almost audible. "In fact, there's a question here," she said dourly. "How in the world are you talking to me right now? Let alone see what I'm doing?" "Oh, that's just it!" Pinkie exclaimed, so at the ball. "We have a ball of our own, and we're pretty sure it's yours. We just touched the ball to talk." "Or touch some ponies who's touching the ball," Applejack said, draping a hoof on the pink pony's shoulder. "Just as long as we're connected to it somehow, you can hear us." "Oh!" Twilight cooed, whirling around animatedly. "Fascinating! This means I could use this as a communication device. I knew this thing was special, but now I have to look at it even more closely," she said, jealously looking at it from top to bottom. The mayor's all gave nervous chuckles. Sunset nodded. "That also means that if I'm away, then she can hear me. That's useful information." Meanwhile, Spike stood over the side with his arms still crossed tight against his chest. He stared intently at the ball, but made no movements to speak. Sunset glanced over at him and frowned, but what could she do? "So, wait," Twilight asked. "Are all of you in Ponyville?" "Well, no," Rarity replied. "We're at Cadillac Castle, you see. We're standing where you're standing right now." There was a silence throughout both persons in the room. Sunset scratched her head. Yeah, she thought. That might be an issue. Twilight laughed. Fantastic, I'm being pranked. Good one, girls. Seriously, though, where are you? Elvisac shook her head. But we are in Canterlot Castle. We're right here, just like Rarity said. We, just don't know how yet. Twilight, Pinkie Pie said. Are you in an alternate dimension again? The friend puffed her cheeks with uncertainty. No, I don't think so. Rarity snoring. That doesn't look anything like another world. Pinkie Pie put a hoof to her chin this time, making a long drawn out. Dizzy strike. Nope, I got nothing. Sunset walked over to the hourglass and leaned it against his frame of thought. There were burn marks downstairs, and for what they had seen, the ones in the ball were still fresh. She still had no answer to what they had seen, and when it came down to it, the explanation in her mind skimmed over at best and caused a contradiction at worst. What if it's time? She said. What if we're looking back at time right now? Dale looked back at her. You really think so? Fluttershy asked. Spike looked over with a raised eyebrow. Sunset nodded. I mean, I guess, yeah. Twilight? Fluttershy asked, turning back towards the ball. What day is it for you? Day? Twilight considered it. It's, well, as far as I know, it's 5 days until my birthday. 108 hours until it starts, to be exact. It's 4 days after your birthday for us, Pinkie said. We're 84 hours after it ends. Dizzy paused. No, wait, yes, it's 4. Reddy thought over. So that means that's 8 days. Wait, how do I include the birthday too? I think 9. My word, Twilight! She gasped. What 9 days ahead of you? Wow! That's incredible! Twilight exclaimed. Oh, that means that my crystal ball is looking 9 days into the past too! Oh my, there are so many applications into this. She hopped around the room like a school filly. Just think of the information that can be shared. You could potentially use this to communicate with the far future or the far past. Ooh! At that point, Spike let out a very long and labored snort. Girls, he asked, his voice almost inaudible. Can I talk to Twilight for a minute? The 6 of them turned all at once, allowing frowns to overtake their features. Twa, Applejack said, I don't think Spike wants a word with you. Twilight nodded as he landed on the floor. Okay. Spike approached at that point. Received the ball for now. He wandered around the room in thought, switching directions several times as he went. Finally, he said, Hi, Twilight. Hello, Spike. The dragon clenched his teeth. How have you been? Twilight kicked the hoof against the floor. I've been good. Great. That's good, Spike said. Since I have the chance to, had to warn about something. So there's going to happen a few things. Sunset hummed. Oh, I see where he's going with this. After a quick glance at the rest of them, so as to drink in some support, he said, There's gonna be a thing. I think you'll encounter about 5 days. You're gonna run into this really scary thing. It's supposed to be super powerful or something. As far as we know, you'll be by yourself when you face it. Twilight frowned. Yeah, Spike. Twilight, please. You need to get ready for it, so that it doesn't... Unicorn continued to look up. For a few moments he was expressionless. In some ways he seemed to shrink. Her wings beat for just a moment as she sifted them about. With shaky eyes she finally smiled. Okay, Spike. The dragon looked up with a skeletal frown. Looked between the mirrors around him and swallowed. You know about it already, don't you, Twilight? Her smile persisted, but her eyes grew moist. Yes. Spike shook his head in disbelief. So, this is nothing new? With a look of longing, Twilight went over to the large window, basking in the sunlight that made it in. What is it with us writers and dramatic moments in windows? She glanced downwards towards the ground below, studying a collection of guards as they relieved their squad mates for their shifts. No, she said with a pensive tone. I've known since last night. Several hours trying to figure out what I'm dealing with. Which I have. She paused to bit her lip. I came up with a plan earlier. I wasn't sure about it earlier, but now I know for sure what I need to do. I guess you probably already know what it is. Spike's fingers squeezed tightly enough to crack the ball. The dragon let out several deep breaths. With a frown, he let it out. What? The mayor stood their ground, firm in their stance as they readied for themselves what came next. In a few days' time, Twilight said, I'm going to take my own life. There was a long and pronounced pause. What? Hairs from his mane and coat stayed on end as did some scales, the precursors of cold sweat on their brows. Hearts throbbed more forcefully in their chests. Sunset reeled. Had Twilight really just said that? Twilight Sparkle's frown grew increasingly deeper with each passing second of silence. Hesitantly, she turned, cursed her choice of words under her breath, then looked back out at Candlelight again. What? Verity started, placing a shaky hoof on the ball. Whatever do you mean? She spoke softly, straining as she tried to force each word out. I'm going to sacrifice myself to stop this thing. It's the only way. Verity held a hoof over her chest and set it across her wind again. Why? Twilight, Spike stammered. I don't understand. Technically, Twilight nodded. I'm sorry. It's complicated. This whole situation is unfortunate. She exhaustedly rubbed her face. Twilight? Spike? Spike swallowed. We don't know what you know. Look, I understand that. You had to do what you did. But I don't know anything about this thing you fought. Nobody knows about anything about it except you. I just want to know what was so bad about this thing. Sunset agreed. But then why did she not? A nervous heat had overtaken her body, and she shook. After something like that, she knew there was nowhere but to go down. Down and down. And she was pretty sure she wouldn't like what they saw. But then again, that would have left Twilight alone. After a few moments of reflection, Twilight nodded solemnly. Okay. Then I'll tell you what I can about the thing. The seven of them took their seats. Not that Twilight could see them or anything. I don't have a name for it. Twilight began, her voice soft and calm and collected. Maybe by now you do. We're just calling it the Nameless, Spike offered. Fair enough. This Nameless is a very powerful entity, the likes I've never seen before. There's nothing in the books I have, and I'm guessing from what you told me, it's not in any other books either. But I've been able to glean a fair bit of information about it, just from the glyphs inside the chamber. This chamber is deep within the caves of Canterlot, Twilight explained, pointing in the direction of the mountain. There's a large chasm where not even the miners were able to build. But if you know where you go, you can walk down. You'll find a large door. This door opens to any point that stands in front of it. Lost in that door was where I found this ball, she said, giving a slight rapid announcement. And you guys went to that place that night, huh? Sunset Shimmer asked, taking care to hoof her off the ball. The six others nodded silently. Then there's a large hemisphere room on the other side of that. It has to be at least the size of the castle back in Ponyville. Maybe even larger. Not sure. But there's a lot of power there. I could feel it the moment I entered. And we got that note from her in the map, Fluttershy added with equal discretion. We ran down there, but I think we were too late. And went from there, Applejack finished. But the place is covered in glyphs. Twilight continued with greater gusto as he thought about her findings. So many symbols. It was a very old language, but I recognized her immediately. I spent most of yesterday deciphering all of them. The place had a lot to say. It was really interesting. And I have a pretty good idea what I'm up against. I also know the mechanism on how this thing is sealed away, and how exactly that seal is broken. And Spike said to the ball, why is this nameless so bad? Twilight's breath became panic. The mare attempted to steady herself against her breath. Even once, she had to use her front hoof to push out alongside, then had to do it again. It worked for a second. Then her interpretations came back with a vengeance, as he was back where she started. You don't want to know. Please, trust me on this. There was not a buzz sound from them. The claws of Twilight's hooves on the hard plaster floor echoed throughout the hall as he continued down the room. For a moment they subsided as he thoughtfully slowed down the hourglass. When they came back, the reports were larger and more thoughtful. I already wish I could forget it. Rainbow Dash searched forward from that point. I think you should talk to us then, she demanded. We've been through a heck of a lot of things, Twilight, and I think we can take it down, just like we have every other time in the past. We can help you. It's not that simple, Twilight hissed. How's it not simple? I need to tell you about the seal then. Rainbow Dash narrowed her eyes. Fine. We're listening. The seal is highly intricate. In fact, it works a lot like the door in that any pony can interact with the spell, not just unicorns. In addition to the spell that seals the door is supplemented by a wide network of small stones. Most of them are underground, and they all contain bits of information about what's in the door. Information I could use. There's a couple of problems, though, she said with a huff. For one, these things reek of power. For all intents and purposes, they are untouchable. So that makes even collecting even one very difficult. They might be depowered in your time, though, so maybe... The seven of them exchanged hopeful smiles. Twilight shook her head. But for two, there are thousands of these things. Tens of thousands. And they're all scattered across thousands of miles. The smiles immediately faded. Twilight ran a hoof through her main frustration. If I had all of that information, I could actually do something! But instead, I'm stuck with... She paused. I might be able to kill this thing by triggering it into the door as it closes. I'm still thinking about that particular detail, though. But won't you die if you do that? Rainbow Dash asked. Twilight nodded solemnly. Yes. Albus echoed a hoof on the crystal. Why isn't the end at all, Twi? It's the way this thing operates, she said, straightening up again. The door that seals this thing is not entirely perfect. It's just for the fact it was recorded. The ponies that built it must have known it wasn't perfect either. While what was it? Nameless. Can't get through on its own. No. What it can do is get through with assistance. This thing tethers onto living things, and uses its energy to repel through the door. She let out a teary sigh. I could feel it draining my power from the moment I stepped into that room. And even now I'm slowly growing weaker. I was tethered the moment I found that place. And in a few days, it'll take in enough of my energy to make it through the door. Are you going to at least tell us? Applejack asked. Also, no. The other part of it is that it can make new tethers if I'm around any pony for a period of time. If I even spend any amount of time with you, you'll be subject to its power too. And why can't we just blast it with rainbow power, like we did with T-Rex? She backpedaled. I'm still not even sure how to use it correctly. It hasn't exactly been consistent. Sunset sighed, as several images of the Battle of the Bands came rushing back. Then, at least let you join you at the door, Rainbow Dash cried. Can't! As long as it has at least one pony to tear it to, you'll always be able to get through. Where'd he go? You can't seriously be suggesting... It's all or nothing, girls! Twilight took a long, purposeful pause and let out this kind of sigh. Do you really want me to ask you to die? Before Rarity could answer, she even had taken the breath to do so. Twilight shook her head. Actually, never mind. But even if I did, what if I accidentally bumped into somebody else? What if I accidentally ran into Sweetie Belle? Rarity found the air lost herself in her throat. What came out instead was a desperate wheeze. Twilight rubbed a hoof on the floor. Or Mrs. Cake. Or Princess Cadence. Would I need to ask them to lay down their lives as well? And what if something goes terribly wrong, and I'm exposed to hundreds, no, thousands? For Celestia's sake, Twilight! Rainbow Dash thundered. There has to be another way! Believe me, Rainbow Dash, I'm trying to think of one! Well, try harder! Yes, Twilight! Pinkie Pie blurred. You can get this! Indeed! Rarity agreed. Girls! Twilight winced. Twilight? Fireside pleaded. You've got answers to everything. I'm sure you'll pull through this, too, Applejack said. But... The Alicorn gnashed her teeth together. Please, Twilight, Spike whimpered, on the first of tears. You have to. You just have to. Twilight Sparkle reared, spreading her wings to full length. No! She screamed, stomping the floor. I can't! Don't you see? It was as if the next heartbeat was skipped entirely. Most of them recoiled in dismay and surprise. Several hosts flew to mouths in attempts to hush startled gasps. No one knew how to respond to that. Twilight stood there in the center of the room, shocked by her own words. In fact, out of all of them, she was taken aback the most. She took many steps backwards in horror. She had just offended Princess Celestia herself. She looked around the room, trying to gauge reactions that she would never see. Her knees wobbled and all of her features quivered. Twilight buried her face in her hose. Then came the sounds. And through a mask of sounds, Twilight's cries were barely audible. Her body shook with each sob, as she slowly collapsed from the tall, regal form she had assumed before into a low, solitary lump on the floor. Sunset felt like a huge knot in her throat. The prostrate alicorn before her was a far cry from what she had ever imagined. Twilight was for her better in all ways. Now she looked like a dog. She had to fry to frown. It wasn't fair! The others exclaimed certain looks of astonishment, was quickly melted into guilty frowns and slumped shoulders. Look, Twilight said, standing slowly, while wiping the tears from her eyes. I don't want any pony to die for my sake. And especially you, my dearest and closest friends. I'm just so afraid, she whimpered. Afraid of losing all of you. I can't. I can't put you at risk. You're all too important to me. I can't even bear the thought of losing any one of you. And that's exactly the risk I would be taking if we all went together. I know I can't survive this by myself. This really, the whole plan of mine is a bad idea, but... She trailed off, looking at the ceiling forlornly. It's the best idea I have. No pony could even move. The seven of them sat there, letting idle tears flow down their faces. And besides, Twilight croaked, hanging her head defeatedly. In our world, time is fixed. It's immutable. Whatever happened was always going to happen, and consequently, whatever happened can't be changed. Is, was, will be. Sunset centered, then paused. She put a hoof to her muzzle and thought. Was that really true? Just the fact that you're talking to me like this right now tells me everything. Doesn't matter what happens, I am going to die all the same. My fate is already sealed. Fuck you, Twilight! Rainbow Dash stammered. Just... Fuck you! Oh, Twilight, Fluttershy sobbed. I'm sorry. I am so sorry, Twilight said. I'm going to fail at being your friend. All of them held their breath. They all looked down at their ball, following Twilight's every movement. Standing tall, the tritone alicorn took a deep breath, walked over to her window, levitating the ball closely behind her. She looked out at the rest of Canterlot and even reached out to touch it, only for the glass to meet her. Near feet away, but entirely out of her reach. One time, she thoughtfully began, I was taught that, yes, I don't have all the answers. I don't have to have all the answers. That if there are answers to find, she told me I could count on all of you, my friends, to find them. I imagine she's in the room right now. Several sets of asking eyes looked towards the sunset. She nodded in meek acknowledgment. Their friend closed her eyes resignedly. I'm going to die. But if you still have any suggestions, then I'm all ears. There were no responses. The six of them continued to prance around each other, trying to take solace in each other's pain, to see if any pony else had even the briefest glimmer of an idea, the smallest notion of how they could help their best friend. None came. Spike's head fell on the ball in their defeat. Sunset Simmer, will you take this from me? The yellow unicorn startled and nodded. Sure, I can do that. Twilight, we'll need some time, okay? Okay, Twilight said, filled with disappointment and regret. I understand. With that, Spike offered up the object. An opal-colored aurora wrapped itself around the crystal, and it generally took from its grasp. Baby Dragon slid towards the stairs. If you all need me, Spike said, I'll be downstairs. Applejack stared after him. Excellent! I'll come with you, she quivered, scooping up her empty teacup. Me too, Rarity said in agreement. The other three nodded in solidarity. 5 mares and a dragon slowly hobbled back towards the living quarters below. Sunset stood, watching their slow, labored pace, as if they were certain to hurry to disappear. Only when they finally disappeared, she chanced a forlorn look on the crystal ball. Sunset felt like several daggers had been plunged into her chest. She could hardly believe this was happening to Twilight. Had happened to Twilight. That such a noble soul was in a feeble place. Her best friend was going to die, and there was nothing she could do to stop it. Nothing. Sunset heard the light twinkle of breaking porcelain down the stairs. Immediately after that came a waves of wails and screams that did not cease for an immeasurable while.